I'm just gonna sit here and say the fight is f***ing stupid. People, for whatever f***ing reason, think that Mike Tyson in 1997 was frozen in time, and we are now thawing that version of Mike out, and it's as legit as it once was.
Well, I'm very excited to finally announce that we've been working on a documentary including 2 Misfits 14 fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Misfits News. I'm your host, Ben the Bane Davis, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, BL. BL, looks like you're still in Dubai. How's everything going over there?
Ben, I'm excited because today we had a big announcement, Misfits 15. But before we get into that juicy stuff, let me give you a rundown of the topics we have for you today. So in today's episode, we are revealing the full Misfits 15 card. We're talking about the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight being professional. And at the end of the video, we have a little surprise for you Misfits Boxing fans at home.
Let's get right into it. Misfits 15 officially announced Elle Brooke versus Paige Van Zant. Elle takes the first steps into a much larger pool of opponents than we've ever seen her before. In the co-main event, it's that cruiserweight tournament, kicking it off with Le'Veon Bell and Tristan Ham, a Canadian adventurer who styled on his last opponent versus one of the most established staples, I'd say, in the scene, former NFL star Le'Veon Bell. Also on that card, you got Lil Cray Cray versus Yuddy Gang. We're running that one back, thankfully. Jeremy Park and Anthony Vargas. You've got the debut of 4'11", former one championship sensation Killer B. OJ Rose takes on Brendan Kelly. And on the kickoffs, it's Elena Vampiro versus Loza and Elisa Megan versus Fangs. BL, really nice card, I would say, and that main event, I think, is attracting a lot of people's attention.
It's a stacked card, but as you say, there's a few fights that really excite me and that stand out for me. One of them, obviously, being Lil Cray Cray versus Yuddy Gang. We're getting the repeat. Last time out, we saw, and I've seen on the scorecards now, Lil Cray Cray take the first 2 rounds. So what's going to happen this time out when they start from the beginning again?
It's a great question. I'm expecting some adjustments from both camps and fighters, and I believe that the fight's just going to be better because of it. It was looking like the fight of the night on May 25th. I almost guarantee you that that's going to steal that distinction. I want to highlight OJ Rose's return. We haven't seen him since he fought Ashley Raksu way back in January, and now that was a draw. In my opinion, OJ Rose edged it out. And again, that was a title eliminator. So now OJ's got the chance to go in, make a pretty big statement against an unproven guy in Brendan Kelly. No disrespect. I know he just won on the Creator Fight Night hosted by Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor, which was a great event. But this is a different level. OJ Rose is not a guy you want to make your debut against. So I think OJ is going to make a huge statement and then get a title shot next. And the debut of Killer B. I mean, this is going to shake up the women's division a little bit for sure.
I want to go back there, OJ Rose. If he does not make a statement, because his last performance, in my opinion, in my eyes, was underwhelming. And it was underwhelming from Ashley Raksu as well. It was not his best showing. We've seen him go out there and really give his heart, and I don't think that was his best rendition that night. So I think this time round, he's really coming in with a vengeance.
He has to. The loss to Gabe Silva, the draw to Ashley Raksu. OJ Rose needs to remind people why he's the businessman, why he makes, It's what he needs to do. The loss to Gabe Silva, the draw to Ashley Raksu. OJ Rose is in a perfect position to step up once again and remind people why he's the businessman, why he's cashing checks and cracking necks. That's the Rose that fought Callum Izzard, and I think that's the Rose that we're going to see against an unproven debutante in Brendan Kelly. But, BL, I want to take your thoughts to Le'Veon versus Tristan Ham. What a crazy co-main event.
We've spoken about this a lot, and the reason why we have spoken about this a lot is because what a cracking fight it is. It's a tough one. For me, it's a 50-50. You've got one guy that has had a Misfits debut and gone out there, proven himself with KO power, and then you've got the experienced Le'Veon Bell, which has shown he has real boxing ability. So it's a toss-up for me because will Le'Veon Bell be able to take these power shots, this front-forward style, and will Tristan Ham be able to adapt, last those longer rounds with someone experienced like Le'Veon Bell? I don't know how this is going to go, Ben. How do you see this fight going?
I think the big takeaway is it's just a massive step up. Much like the main event, this is a different category that Tristan Ham is jumping into. And while he is trained by BJ Flores and he is fully dedicated to this craft and getting better at it day by day, Le'Veon's been here for a couple years. He has fought guys like Uriah Hall, former UFC standout, right? So I have to lean towards Le'Veon's experience. I have to lean with the athletic gifts he possesses. And Tristan would say he's maybe one-dimensional, but we have yet to see Tristan do anything to anyone legit. No disrespect to not Logan Paul, but there's a big difference between coming in and getting a really quick debut knockout over someone that's not Misfits level and Le'Veon Bell. So Tristan Ham, I'm very curious. If he wins against Le'Veon Bell, he's my favorite to win the tournament, but that's a huge if.
I think that's a very fair assessment there. But before we go into that fight again, for me, I need to talk about the kickoffs. Now, they're called the kickoff for a reason because it's kicking off the night with some exciting fights. You have Vampira versus Loza, one that's really caught a lot of people off guard. So let me give you a little background on Loza. Yes, she's one of the smaller creators, but she's built her way up from the beginning. And now she's taken on one of the most dangerous names in the female division, which is Vampira.
It kind of reminds me of Nikki Rue, right? Shades of this individual that's getting an opportunity, a smaller creator, and is good, is very competent inside the ring, and kind of has an awareness on the marketing and the promotion side of it. So let's see what she's got. Like I said, and like you said, this is deep waters. You're stepping in there with a proven product in Vampira, but if you can beat Vampira, what does that say to the rest of the division? It's a massive, massive message. So Lowe's is in a great spot, and Fangs in her return. I mean, I know that she's got a lot of fans, and no better spot than kicking off the night. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Now, something I want to highlight as well is the Killer Bee debut. Killer Bee debut. There's no confirmed fight. Obviously, last episode we spoke about a rumored fight because it was posted on social media. However, it's been rectified on the Misfits channel, and it's saying her debut. Who could she possibly be facing on the night?
It's a great question. Jamila Selena was the original opponent, the 38-year-old Dutch singer who appeared on The Real Housewives of Amsterdam. That was kind of what we were presented to last week. Now that thing has changed, which is understandable. It happens a lot. Matches fall apart and new ones emerge. So we'll see. I think that whoever Misfits, Mams, Kala, and everyone select will be up to the task. And, you know, Killer Bee is a fun fighter. I hope that they give her someone that will bring the fireworks out of her. So a lot of anticipation there. But BL, all roads lead to the main event. It's Elle Brooke versus Paige Van Zandt.
What a fight. I wanted to pause there for a second because I don't think a lot of people understand the background that Paige Van Zandt has. I mean, she had some real experience in there, and she's been in there with killers, and now Elle Brooke is stepping in the ring, taking the route of someone like KSI, like Jake Paul, and has taken on her toughest fight to date.
100%. Paige Van Zandt's not a pushover. You can make the claim these days that she's much more content creator focused than competition, but let's not discredit what she's done. Competing in the UFC the amount of times she did, having the bare knuckle bouts that she did. She's proven she's tough. She has hands. She's been a lifelong mixed martial artist. So if Elle Brooke can pass this test, and let's say she gets another big finish like the AJ Bunker one, dude, stardom. We are talking a massive boost in every opportunity and conceivable thing that Elle Brooke could achieve with a win against Paige Van Zandt. The problem is that is so much easier said than done. Paige is a nasty competitor, and you know, Elle's been very vocal. She hasn't been training as long as Paige, but we're going to see May 25th if the experience that she does have is enough. BL, I want to take it to another interesting announcement and development. The Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight is officially a pro-sanctioned bout. Texas has really gone all out here, saying it's going to be on the pro records. It's official, 14-ounce gloves, no headgear, 2-minute rounds. What do you make of these stipulations that are now attached to Paul versus Tyson?
Well, before we get into those stipulations, I want to reiterate some of the things you had there. I've got a list here of the exact rules. You got, again, as you say, officially sanctioned professional fight, number 1. Result will go to official records, number 2. Number 3, knockouts are allowed, 8 2-minute rounds, 14-ounce gloves, and no headgear. Now, a few of those things are quite interesting to me. The one being no headgear. That's a dangerous fight for Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Mike Tyson, does he carry the power? We were told by Roy Jones he still carries the power. And we know Jake Paul has a lethal right hand. We don't know if Mike Tyson can take punches like that. So I don't want to be the one that says it, but I believe there's going to be a knockout this night.
I agree with that. I think there's going to be a knockout, and I think it's going to be Jake Paul. To stay consistent with my philosophy on this fight, Mike Tyson should not be in there. The fact that this is sanctioned in the manner that it is disgraceful. There is no shame associated with this bout. And I don't want to have egg on my face twice because, we talked about Ryan Garcia and how dumb that fight seemed, and boy, did he show up on the night. But it's just crazy for me to think that Mike Tyson, who has not fought professionally in an official bout in over 20 years, is going to show up at 58 and look good. And not get hilariously knocked out by an uppercut or a right hand. I
want to highlight, again, 8th round, 2 minutes. 8 rounds in 2 minutes. Is that for Jake Paul or is that for Mike Tyson? Well, I'll answer your question there before you get there, Ben, because Jake Paul's already done 3-minute rounds. He's already done the longer ones. So this is clearly for Mike Tyson. That already shows there are concerns in the camp of Mike Tyson.
Listen, it could be 10 3-minute rounds. It could be 12 2-minute rounds. It could be 2 5-minute rounds. It's only going to take a handful of minutes, I think, for Jake Paul to knock Mike Tyson out. That's kind of where my head's at. This is not going to be a long night at the office. I believe one of the first big punches that Jake Paul lands is going to be it. Mike Tyson is an old guy. He's not young.
He's Uncle Mike.
He's not as durable. It's Uncle Mike. As much as I like the guy, right? And he was fantastic, but this is not going to go that long. And I don't know. You could give Mike Tyson a handful of advantages, and I don't think it would matter.
Do you think this ruins his credibility? He loses this fight. What really happens to that legacy that he built over the years?
It's still there. The accomplishments are still there. The knockouts and the highlight reels are still there, and they're still entertaining, and they're still very impressive. I think it's just frustrating to see this level of decision-making at this point in his career. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, what he's doing at age 58 tarnishes all of the work that he did when he was a pro and he was training like he wanted to be the best in the world. What he does right now, I don't think has any reflection on who Mike Tyson was back in the day. They're entirely different people. Right? So I can't sit here and go, this ruins his legacy. I'm not going to sit here and go, Mike has no credibility. I'm just going to sit here and say the fight is stupid, and I don't understand Mike Tyson's incentive, what the motivation is here. I just wish it wasn't happening.
Well, we are pushing the narrative that Jake Paul gets this knockout, but do you not believe Mike Tyson has that chance? I mean, as I say, we have Roy Jones Jr. on, and he said he carries that power. He said the headgear was there to protect Jake Paul, so do you not think there's any credibility in that?
No.
Short and sweet answer.
Sorry, Roy. I don't believe there's much value or evidence in thinking that way. Did you see the video of Mike Tyson running? Did you see that video of him sprinting?
He sounded like a demon.
He sounded like a little baby, a little toddler. And it's feeding time. And
poor Uncle Mike's getting fed to Jake
Paul.
Paul.
Uncle Mike. Yeah, I don't want to be such a negative Nancy on this whole thing, but I have to be as extreme in my thinking because this is a stupid fight, and I don't really get what I had this conversation yesterday. It's kind of a win-win for Jake Paul. It really is when you think about in this way. The casual audience on Netflix, they don't know Mike Tyson's lack of a career competitively for the last 20 years. They just know Mike Tyson, the knockout artist, the former heavyweight king, the guy who is vicious inside the pocket. That's all the casual audience knows. So Jake Paul is winning either way because I've had conversations with people and they're going, oh, Mike Tyson's going to kill him.
I agree. That's exactly what I've been hearing. That's what I've been hearing the entire time. And I'm there like, are we talking about the same person here? Are we talking about the video game Mike Tyson from God knows how many years ago?
Punch Out. Yeah, is this Punch Out Tyson? No, people don't know. People, for whatever reason, think that Mike Tyson in 1997 was frozen in time, and we are now thawing that version of Mike out, and it's as legit as it once was. It's not. And Jake Paul is standing to win any way this fight goes, because if he loses, guess what people are going to say? Oh, he was in there with one of the greatest heavyweights of all time and one of the hardest power punchers of all time, because the general audience is stupid. They're dumb. And where is this fight going? This is going to the general audience who's stupid and dumb. That's the platform that they're doing this on, which is smart. It's a very smart move.
Very
I can
clever
see that.
decision.
But I also can criticize it because I'm not the general audience.
I think that's
and
very
we're not
fair.
stupid, right? So it's. I get what Jake's doing. I disagree with it wholeheartedly, and I think we're all going to be very sad in July when we see Mike Tyson laying on the canvas. And the big takeaway is, once again, this fight shouldn't have happened. Now, before we get out of here, BL, you've been in Dubai for what feels like a year. The fans are curious. What have you got going on over there?
Well, I'm very excited to finally announce that we've been working on a documentary including 2 Misfits 14 fighters, that being Ryan Taylor and Miss. But before we get into it, let me give you a teaser of what's to come.
Less of the talk, more of the action. Let's hope you've been training that jaw, so I'm going to snap it.
Bro, when we get in the ring, forget about all that. The bell's going to go. You're going to get smacked in the face. First round, I'm fucking eat him up. Just batter him, bro. Just go out there crazy.
Wow, so the people have finally seen what we've been cooking. So Ben, I want your reaction. What are you thinking?
Oh, it's fantastic. Genuinely. Behind the scenes, exclusive access to 2 of the hottest stars on Misfits 14. BL, you dug deep into who these people are when the gloves aren't on, the personalities, the lives that these people lead. It's brothers to opponents. It's a tale as old as time, and the only way to watch it is here on the Misfits channel. BL, when does this documentary drop?
So it's dropping Saturday the 4th. I'm so excited for everyone to see. As you said, we're telling a story here. We're delving deeper, and you're going to be seeing the full story of how this beef originated.
Cannot wait for it. May 4th, I know for sure I'll be sitting here watching that Ryan Taylor versus Miss documentary. This will be the last episode for a minute. We're going to really focus on Fight Week, May 11th, Misfits 14. You can't miss it. But we'll be back afterwards recapping all the action here on Misfits News for BL. I've been Ben the Bane Davis. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. And we'll see you next time.